Welcome back to another episode of Planet Coaster 2 and welcome back to the Hanseatic Dreamland. It's launch day and today we can welcome every one of you to the one for Planet Coaster 2. So in today's episode we are doing a entrance. I thought, it's the exactly perfect time to, get something done that has the vibe of a new start, of the entrance to the new game because it's launch day, and this is why I moved this to episode number 3. Technically, I do these things in the first episode, but I just thought that for the sake of the timing for today, it's the better step to do it in the third episode. We will have also a special guest in the real-time part. I'm not revealing who that is as of now, but you should stay here, okay? It's going to be very, very fun collab and very fun thing you're going to see in the future. So yeah, I spoiled already something in here. Anyways, we're going to talk about the entrance a lot, and there were a couple of voices in the last couple episodes that were like, hey, you are talking too much. Well, that is part of a voiceover, right? The fact that you do speak. I mean, in case you don't want to listen, well, you can just mute, I guess, and put on some music and watch the time lapse, get inspired, and just check what you want to have from what I do. So, I need to say this building over here cost me some trouble. It took me a while to figure out what exactly I wanted to do, and I had several iterations before I went for that one. So my very first idea was to go for a kind of stage vibe, almost like as if you want to put down a stage. There was a cool idea how to do that, and I tested a couple of things, but I want to do something else with the stage. Now, the stage idea is basically because all of that over here, the idea that the whole park is only partially permanent and the rest is it's not technically temporary, but you would have something temporary in here because in these harbor areas, there's a lot of concrete, there's a lot of plain areas, and you'll have to do a lot to make this look more interesting and vibey and stuff like that. Have a couple of inclines, and I'm feeling this right over here at the beginning a lot because there's virtually no height elevation or anything, which is normal for a harbor area, but I will need to work around that. So the next episode will be all around finishing this left-hand side already of this area. Not entirely, but a lot. Now, this brings me to the point why I was not going for the concert hall as an entrance, or not concert hall, but was meant like a stage, because I felt like if it's not permanent, what would you do with the entrance, ticket halls, and so on? So I decided against that idea. Then my second idea was to go with another typical brick building that just kind of mirrors the big building in the background. And while I was testing this, I just felt like there is too much brick involved here, and I didn't want to have that much brick, normal reddish brick, as you can see on the left hand side here with this placeholder tower, which is exactly just that. It's a placeholder. Now, I tested a couple of things and I ended up doing something that I wanted to build anyways, and now I just decided to put this rather over here, and this is the the Landungsbrücke. It's part of the Landungsbrücke, which is called, it's basically the docking stage, but in Hamburg, the building is very famous, the Landungsbrücken, which is the area, a very famous building where you have a lot of docking stages, and the building itself is very well known, but I didn't decide to go for the center. This is the left-hand side building, but I did interpret that, and have a new interpretation of that. I did interpret that in a different way. Whatever, that sounds wrong. And also I was just struggling to get the right looks for the roof. And usually these builds go a lot quicker. Now, obviously, as this is the first day for me, also, well, it wasn't the first day, but just one of the first days of playing the game. I just needed to get to the grips. I don't know the pieces completely, and all these other things I needed to just first of all get right. But at the end of the day, I was rather happy with how it turned out. You will see in the second step of today's video. Step 1 is the entrance building itself, and step 2 is going to be the detailing. I would also recommend, if you need inspiration how to build these things, and this is one of the most common questions always asked, how I approach these type of things and how I do this. I mostly do exactly what you're seeing on screen right now. After a couple of iterations that I usually don't have in the speed builds because they are basically not nice to watch, you can see though in the background how there are everywhere some boxes, you know? There are not like proper buildings, they're just some boxes to get an idea of the size, to get an idea of where they are standing and how they create a different sideline for the stuff and how they interact also with the other buildings. Once I have this sorted out, I start to put down a couple of walls to get the basic shape of my building, and then I do a semi-detailing is what I would call that. You know, it's already looking pretty good. Like, I try to find the right words over here because I know that a lot of people don't even build that detailed, which is totally fine, by the way. But for me personally, this is getting a feel of how it needs to look, you know? If the windows are in the right position, if the details I chose to go for make sense, if they look good enough, if there's something missing. So I'm throwing in a lot of things to see if I can go for that. By the way, this over here is a very fun part of the video. Like, if you've been around for Planet Coaster 1, you know that a certain Mr. Sylph has built an entire area out of chimneys in one of his very first main street builds. By the way, this is still one of my absolute favorite videos of all time on YouTube. Sylph, if you're listening, this is no joke. I remember how he was building the main street, and looking at the main street right now, it's kind of ridiculous because it doesn't even hold up that well because it was done in the alpha as well, and we really didn't have that many pieces, we had no scaling and all these kind of things. We even didn't have flexicolor, which is ridiculous. But he took the many chimneys in the game, which for whatever reason, we had a lot of chimneys in game, and abused them for virtually everything, for gates, for doors, for frames, for whatnot. And I found it so funny to not have a single chimney in this game now. Like, for real, but what's that? It's like erasing history. I don't know. Well, we don't have chimneys, we do have a lot of cool pieces for making this tower, which the tower is the eye-catcher. As Sylph, to stick with him, would say it's kind of the weenie of this build. The one thing you focus at, the one thing that drags you there, that makes you go there, that makes you want to go there. And this is that tower. And I had a bit of a struggle to build this, not gonna lie, because looking for the right pieces was more complicated than I was thinking it is going to be. Now, a couple of those things I ended up doing because I feel like it looks good enough right now. What I will change though, and you'll see that in a second, despite the fact it was kind of painful, I will redo the roof. The roof is looking okay enough, but the shape hasn't been exactly like I wanted it to be, and the glossiness of the pieces is just not really what I wanted to do. I just tried a couple of different variations, and here you can see I'm going with the anchor plate because I thought that's gonna be good. Also, by the way, building these roofs is now very nice with having the chance of doing this with scaling. Just, I don't know, it just makes so much sense because you can make this, you know, kind of detail work to the top a lot better. You can see I even had these little problems in between, so I tried to scale them up a little to just see if they would then rotate around nicely. By the way, if you're wondering what I'm doing with the rotation trick over here, you always have this pillar in the center. There are only two pieces in the game that lets you do this. You need a pillar that goes into the center of the grid. So it doesn't need to be on one side. It needs to be exactly on one of the crossings of the grid. And there are two pillars that achieve this, and you can then use these things to rotate pieces around. So what you do is you have a piece on the one side ending on one of the grid sides, and then you just copy it to the other side, so it will be perfectly on the other side. You do need to do that twice to just align that with the other side too, and then once you've done that, you have these four pieces all facing each other in a cross area, so to say, like in a cross form. And then once you have that, you can basically select everything again and then get rid in your selection of the center pillar. You press advanced move like Control X, and then you can rotate the pieces around. I highly suggest to go for angle snap then, because the angle snap will help you make a fine rotation. And once you have done that enough times, you will see that your rounded shape will start to form. And if there are still little gaps in between, you just select everything again, you press Control X again, rotate, and then you need to get rid of angle snap and just rotate in that angle that it will fill in all the gaps. So that's what you do. Filling in the gaps, good kind of segue here. I was trying to create some more gaps to give the whole building a bit more depth, you know, just making it feel good. And I'm wondering also, while I look back at the footage, I remember that I've been asked in Bronation if I used the what was the marble pieces for that, and I did in the first variant of this build, but apparently this second variant I didn't. This is the market square pieces, because the first time I used the marble pieces, and I think the marble pieces have a better texture and they have a better depth in them, but they were too glossy for me, which is why I ended up doing this. I still do use some of the marble pieces for like the lower ground areas where I use a couple more of these stones, or rustic stones. They look a bit better in these kind of marble stone pieces, as you will see in a couple seconds when I'm going to do this on the lower hand side. But here you can see the roof, as I said, is like, it looks okay, but this is the texture I need to have later on, as you can see. This is way better, and I will try to do that again with a different texture, and also create a bit of a lesser pointy shape of it, because the shape for me personally at the moment is a tiny bit too oriental. It almost looks like, you know, Turkish architecture, or like a mosque even. It's a very fine line, you know. The rest of the building looks very Hamburg-ish and very Landungsbrücken, but yeah, there is a tiny bit of inside of me that has this kind of vibe going on, oriental vibe, mosque kind of vibe. This is why I will eventually go and end up changing this. I merely have the feeling that this is a good idea to have it this way. But whatever, I'm going I am having a little issue here and there. This build really looks fantastic at the end, at least in my opinion, even though the struggle was real. But at some point, and this is also part of the process, I decided to, well, basically go into doing some detailing. And now this is funny. Whenever you get stuck, it's a good idea to take a step away from your building and do something in the area of the building that will contribute to your building. And this is what I did over here. I started doing some backstage work because I felt like I wanted to have a little backstage area anyways over here, which could also be a part of the delivery area and service area. And I also needed to have a wall to make it kind of, logic that people would need to go all the way down to the harbor to enter the park, because otherwise, like, why wouldn't they just not go into the park? And this will always give you the chance to think about your building later on in a different way. You will then see the building virtually, like, not with different eyes, but you will see it in a different context, and ideas will spark to your mind how to change the detailing. So that is the main idea I had about this, and I'm very, very happy with how that turned out. So I needed to do a little cut here because my voice just broke away. A bit of a coughing going on right now, but shouldn't be too worrying. Now let's talk a bit more about this area as a whole. I did talk a bit about the station and my design process, and now what I also feel like is needed is we need to talk about the whole area a bit more. So in the real-time part, I will also talk about a bit of a surprise to what this series is also about, and I want to say that the main theme of a harbor over here, as I said earlier, sparked in my mind for so long, but I also feel like it gives us so many good environments to play with, you know. We will have this entrance area, which is basically like a proper dock that has been turned around, and cleared, but it also means that we need to think a lot about how to be creative in terms of getting different like regions in, and how to deal with the given circumstances when you have like a proper old, like people also commented in the last episode, like an old shipyard, for example, or like a railway station or stuff like that will be in here. And this is going to be very cool, and I loved the idea so much that I was going for it. And the more I'm playing in here, the more I have ideas what to do else. So this over here, for example, is our backstage access. This corrugated piece is just absolutely amazing. I think this is my go-to piece right now. You can literally use this for everything. If you have the two different color options separated from each other and kind of bring some stuff in, it'll always look like some old rusty stuff. But if you take the same, it becomes a very modern kind of metal wall, which is super cool because this is the variations that you definitely need. Put a couple of little handles in here, and then we went into doing a bit of street markings. And what I, usually what I would have done is to build the whole parking lot as like a preparation. And the first episode already did take like 30-ish hours or so until it was done. And I just can't afford to put 30 hours into every episode, because then you guys would get a video every month. Like that's what I can do. That's what I can offer. No, like jokes aside, I always feel like it's very important to have the setting, and then from the setting you can really start and go. And also, like what you've just seen a couple seconds ago, how easy and simple it is now to plop in the right color of the asphalt is just like such a game changer. Like, not the fact that we do have the better pathing system over here, no. I think a big part of it is also the way how it handles the textures, that you can just easily paint different layers of asphalt texture on here. So you can see virtually on screen right now, this is the same texture, and I just have a different color on the two asphalts, and it just makes this whole difference. And this way you can also make sure that you have some weathered effects. I even have some car markings on the ground where the bus would go, and also did this with the tool. And I will do this again. I have a better idea now how to achieve this. The way I did this was a bit wrong, so I will essentially do this again. But I feel like there is so much good stuff in here. Also, this is going to be like a concrete block, these type of security blocks you have in public spaces and stuff like now. I wanted to scale that a bit smaller, but apparently these pieces didn't want to go that much smaller, so I may build a smaller variant of it too. And here you can see I'm also putting like a little pillar down. This is a design which is not a pillar per se, it's these kind of poles to tie a rope to, like the old, I forgot how these were, like docking pillars or something like that, where the boats would have their ropes tied around. And nowadays it's not really that much use, but this is what you have like in harbor area too. And all these kind of props I'm building over here will be used throughout the park to give it the proper theming, I should say, as well. And I will also plop all of these things in my backstage area. And you'll soon be able to download these things from the workshop. I'm going to upload them all to my workshop as soon as I can, so make sure to follow my workshop here on the Frontier workshop as soon as you can to grab yourself some of the wonderful blueprints. I mean, today is the release day. You can just do that, okay? You can just get yourself these wonderful blueprints. And also I will put them on screen or like on the workshop tonight when I'll be live streaming, just as a hint here. Again, not really sure which time, but yeah, I'm gonna be live tonight playing some Planet Coaster 2, and on launch day hopefully you guys will be excited. And if you're not there because you're playing yourself, that's totally fine. Now you can see this is what I said earlier with the tower. I wasn't too happy with the way how it looked, and so I decided to go in with these marble pieces a bit more because they look a bit nicer. Yeah, if they weren't that shiny, they would be even nicer. And I also figured that the edge of the roof was really looking a little bit too like blank and not detailed enough, and so I went in with these very cool metal pieces over here on the flexi collar piece, or like the flexi collar metal piece, I should say, and also off-grid corrugated piece. Like it's a mixture, but I feel like it looks a lot better now once you've got these pieces in. It makes the whole thing look so much better. Then I adjusted the color, so it's good. It doesn't matter if it's a little bit weird looking at the ground, but I also try to make sure that I cover the sides here to make it all look a bit more clean, just making sure that everything somehow fits together well, and just trying to get some stone in and so on to just make it look a little bit more clean. There are still pieces I'm not 100% sure of, like the stone pieces, the market stone pieces are used over here as the main stone of the build. It's kind of good, but the texture is nothing I'm like in love with, because the edges are a little bit harsh. Like it's if you look at them from front, they're looking fantastic, but the edges are really, really rough. So really hope that I will get a better piece in the future. But yeah, road markings again, just putting some in. That is just kind of for buses over here to have like a kind of a marking that cars and stuff shouldn't go there, and that's just the bus only, to make sure that our people have a bit of security once they're moving around there. I also was putting down a couple of vending machines here and there to make sure that we have some stuff here in the beginning. I tried to submerge them also in the building a little, but it didn't turn out so well, so I decided to go just for those and making like a little bit of a nice area. And last but not least, I figured that we need some custom lanterns because, as you know, no project of mine without a custom lantern. And there are some really cool lights in this game already, and so I was going for some own designs that I'm very proud of. They all look very cool, and I was obviously turning that nighttime. You can see that's really cool over here how the new lighting affects the pieces, that you can really make this type of kind of top piece and the light is not casting through it, which really is good because that way you have this way more realistic look to it. The only thing is that like the lower piece down there was really causing me some trouble. I was trying my best to kind of get a bit of a styling in. It still looks a bit odd, and I was going for a bit of a more heavy lower piece, and I'm kind of okay with this, but for the sake of the top lantern, I wished that we had some of these lanterns as a single individual piece. They all come with, unfortunately, a flat bottom piece that's a bit wider, and so you need to, like, if you want to make them higher in general, it's looking a little odd. So yeah, I was trying to go for a couple details to make sure this doesn't look too weird, and the same goes for this one over here. I was just making sure that this is a bit thicker to the bottom, and then just go for a very simple lantern design. Nothing too fancy, but I feel like to have a bit of variation in here makes a whole bunch of sense, and just creating a couple of groups, and I'll again put all of these lanterns in the workshop so you guys can have them as well. And last things were just a couple of finishing touches. I also wanted to have like a small bike stand over here. There will be more around the area. This is just like one little bike stand over here because we obviously want to have people also be able to come by bike, especially in Hamburg or so, you know, it's a bit more common to use the bike. I mean, we're not in the Netherlands though, but still, you know, there's a chance to use the bike. And I found these pieces that were very good. I think they fit this kind of bike stand vibe very nicely, and so I was doing these and putting a couple more planters in simply because I felt like we need some more greenery around here, which is going to be a pattern throughout the series, because putting trees and stuff in here will be a bit of a challenge because you know, this area obviously has been very much terraformed into a huge slab of concrete, and so a lot of these planter areas will be reinstalled planters that usually haven't been here. So also, by the way, I love this weeping willow design, even though you'll see in the real-time part there's a bit of weird stuff going on with this weeping willow. It's I want to call this the gum tree, but you'll know why in a second. And then obviously we needed to put the name on top of the house. I'm very much in love with these new font pieces. They're really cool. And I may actually change this though into the 3D letters just because they look better. But yeah, then just covering up some of these areas here to make them look a bit more clean. And that was almost it before we go into the real-time part. It's going to be a very long video today because we've been rambling a lot in the real-time part. So you'll have a pleasure of a long episode today. Hopefully you will enjoy that one, because in a couple of seconds we will be jumping over into the real-time part. And yeah, I'm going to hand you over to Mr. Realtime Rudi and our special guest today. Enjoy that one, and well, I talk to you in a couple seconds. Morning here. There you go, 50 gigabytes, that's fine. Okay, I'm gonna clap real quick. And we are jumping right away because this means you will not be biased at all, and you don't need to know anything, so that's good. Right, I'm gonna do real quick the hello into the, into the real-time part of the video, and then I'm going to introduce you. Right. So here we are in the wonderful real-time part, Weeping Willow, and it's time now to introduce my special guest. Or let me just actually say, let my guest introduce himself. So go ahead, please.
Hey, what's good? So yeah, my name is Birch, or professionally known as Pure Cold, but I also do a lot of 3D modeling work and CAD work under the name Rusty Rails Modeling.
So, and while I see this Weeping Willow actually does fulfill its name. Wow, that looks odd. Anyways, yeah, I'm so happy that you're on, because you guys have heard some work of this guy already 3 times now in this project. So I'm just gonna go in, and there's another very cool connection between you and me. So I'm not sure if we can see it from over here already. No, I think it's somewhere else. There are Isla Napali containers in some of the container areas. And,
no way.
Isla Napali is actually shareholder in this project too. So this park is also driven by them, the same investors. And the cool bit about this is the original music of Isla Napali has been done by, well, you, is that correct?
Myself, yeah. I mean, that seems forever ago now. But I still remember it very vividly. And I remember writing it all in Ableton, sending you a what do you think? And then next minute you're like, oh, this is great. And and it's the new theme song. And then didn't we build a stage or something, like a little performance area?
Yeah, exactly.
If I was in the game, that's where I'd perform.
Exactly. Yeah, that was the area where I did this kind of Coke Live little joke. You know, in your backstage area, I provided you with like a whole bunch of Coke Lives, and then there was like a sign saying, "Here are all the Coke Lives," because no one actually wants them. And that was just like shortly before they were gone forever. We are standing here at the entrance building of our new project, and the music for this new project has also been created by you. Correct?
Yeah. We how many songs did we produce in total? I think it was like 3 or 4 different variations. So we did like that big opening fanfare, typical show opening sound, and then we produced a few lounge tracks. And I remember you saying to me, I'm coming up with this dock idea, like a port, but I don't want it to be that typical, sea shanty, Americanized or Disneyized, if that's a word, like that universal typical theme park, piratey theme. You wanted it to convey the relaxing waves and the emotions, and you sent me some fantastic adverts that, although they were in German, I managed to, get a lot of inspiration from them. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, that was really cool. Like, it was a really good forth and back. And then suddenly I had access to the game, but I couldn't say anything. That was kind of harsh because I needed to...
I know. When I saw your first episode on the pre-release, I was like, this guy... Well, not only did he keep that secret, you kept that Rusty Rails logo right there a secret.
Oh, yes. I did.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I think I just like deleted some while I was doing this. I did delete some of the bricks here. I fix that. Anyways, I just want to tell a little story, because I was like, we've been in contact for all these years, and you also during that time you created a kind of a side hustle, a little bit of a hobby project, which turns into a let's say weird heating room, which is heated by a bajillion 3D printers. So pretty cool. And our idea was, we haven't talked since, but the idea was that we will turn something from this ride over here into a proper 3D object, which you guys can then download and print yourself if you fancy doing so. So potentially it's going to be the station or maybe the crane. We're going to have to see what we come up with. And this logo is also from Rusty Rails, which is a website where you can grab some really cool models, including some coaster stuff. And also, I have printed already the wonderful model of the rapid rides that you sent me. I will plop a screenshot on screen right now if I'm not stupid as always and forget it.
Bless you.
But so that's another part of the collaboration, which is super cool, because that's going to be very fun. The only issue we have at the moment is, and this is another part of the story, we also plan to have like the launch music as, backdrop for the park, like moving around here. But Frontier being Frontier, we don't have custom music as of now.
I did see a thing saying they're going to introduce that into the thing, and they're also going to introduce the unload load station. Exactly.
That's going to be really
cool. Exciting.
Exactly.
I just really hope that they bring coaster nets in. I brought it up in your live stream the other day, and I was like, we can toggle catwalks on and off. If we could just toggle like coaster nets as easily.
Actually, the surf coaster has it, but like only the surf coaster, which is so weird. But
it's probably worth mentioning that at the time of recording this, Planet Coaster isn't out for another day or so, is it? It comes out today, does it? So I've not actually
it's
played
tomorrow,
the
yeah.
game yet.
I mean, the episode is going to be released at release day, so I made already a pretty nice opening. But we're recording a day ahead.
Yeah, but me myself, I've not actually played the game yet, so I don't know anything about the controls.
I can tell you.
No, I love it. I really.
Also,
I just love seeing all the stuff. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Also, by the way, I hope you're not mad that I just changed the color. Like usually your logo is like
go
greenish,
for it.
But like I decided
it's like
to match it with like rails.
Oh no, it looks great.
Yeah.
I tell you what though. I'm so grateful. I'm really like happy right now. I was like, there's two things I wanted to bring up. I wanted to bring up about the coaster nets, and there was something else I couldn't remember what it was I wanted to talk to you about. And you've just jogged my memory. And so when a roller coaster is first built, and when it's fresh out the box, if you will, it's really, really nice. It's really, really clean and polished. And you go on that first ride, and there's a little bit of the coast. So the running rail, I believe it's called, where the wheels are touching the physical track. That line, that's the one. That line hasn't yet been worn in that much. And it would be such a beautiful, subtle feature, which it might already be one known Frontier. They're blowing my mind at the moment. But that sort of like side rail, that shiny bit you can see there on the side of the rail, that would, become greater and more worn as the coaster goes on for refurbishment. Do you know what I mean? And like at a certain point, you have to refurbish it, and it gets repainted, and that line becomes less. If you get what I mean.
Like the whole situation around like coasters and coaster simulation becomes so hilarious while we are talking about the fact that we now have an actual staff member, the ride operator. Let me just quickly show you, because the lighting with RTX and global illumination is just ridiculous. So
the RTX is insane.
I'm going to show you how the station looks from the inside, so we can also go mad about this person working in here. So hold on, there you go.
Already just how dark those shadows are.
Yeah, it's so
It's
good.
just...
So
I hope they introduce a thing though, where you can the auto exposure time, like it can, because you know how like, when you showed inside the container, you were like, just give me an hour and it'll be dark. Like it'd be cool if we could do that almost instantly.
Yeah. I do think they're still not final with the lighting. I guess there's still some work been done, because there are also some other little problems here and there, and also outside it's a little bit too warm, like not temperature wise, but the color is too warm. But anyways, this is a proper staff member now, which will also go back to the staff room eventually. Now the problem is that this person does not fulfill a job other than existing. And I genuinely think they didn't make it in time to rework all the stuff around coasters. Like the fact that they now just said that there will be an unload station is obviously pretty damn great, because that might give us a hint that there is more in the works as well. And I would really like, the wear, maybe not visually, but just in general, that the coaster has some actual wear, and also the coaster train has some wear, so that it's not only
so like an audible rattle.
Yeah, maybe you get like a maintenance
gets older.
hall, or you need to put it into maintenance. I'm also okay if that's just a setting. If that's like if the coaster would then just like the train would just disappear for like half an hour in game, totally fine. We can build the cosmetic shelter for it. It's all good, but like give us a bit of options. Oh my god, I've never seen this view from this side.
Yeah,
God, that looks awesome.
That looks fantastic.
So
that really does.
Yeah, there's one more thing I quickly want to show you, and then we need to go into another area to show the viewers a little bit. But you did send me a little note, and while we were chatting, and I just wanted to show you that I fixed it. So we're gonna go through one of the containers into a bit of a more.
That looks insane.
There you go. See, I put down the rails.
That looks great.
That looks better, right?
Yeah, so the only reason I said that is because, obviously, so Rusty Rails came from, I used to make little scenes with Model Railway, and I tell you what, if you upload something that isn't correct, they shut you down instantly. And so, like, the first thing I saw was when I saw the sleepers connecting the two rails, I was like, instantly. And the second thing I saw, which... it's probably going to niggle you now, but you see the wheels of your crane over there?
Yeah, they're way too small. That's never gonna hold up.
What's the inner rail for if there's only wheels connecting to the outer rail?
Oh yeah, I'm still working on different crane designs. Yeah.
I saw that. I was like, I'm going to save that for the live stream.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's now sunk below the concrete, it would look like less of a trip hazard because, where there's a blame, there's a claim.
Yeah, you're totally right. Like I just put them in for guidance, and I'm still working on some more crane designs that will make it into this one to give a proper backdrop. And also there will obviously be. We've got birds. Look at that.
Can you click them? Can you defeather them like in Roller Coaster Tycoon 3?
Oh, I've not tested, but I can still plop the balloons. That does work. I will do more designs of those, and then afterwards I will also have them interact with some coasters and stuff because like this will grow over time, the whole area. It's not like this small area. We will soon branch out to the other side, and all these buildings you can see in the back, they are all like temporary. They're just to give me an idea how it should look sooner than
they
later,
look really the Berghain in Berlin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nice and industrial.
They do. Look at that, by the way. The pathing in this game is like, look at that little subtle incline here to the bridge. Like, this was never possible.
It's so good. And the way it curves round like that.
Yeah, it's so good. Like, we're going over the canal. That's going to be also like a good amount of work I need to do because I need to hide most of these backdrops here. It's kind of, I wish to have like more maps than like a coastal map would have obviously been great for a harbor like that, but again, we need to pretend that we are a little bit inland with the harbor, which is fine, because there are.
You?
Gang.
It's not. It's not connected.
Yeah. This is
are you gonna do?
You can't.
Are you gonna do like the canal bridge on it? The black frame that goes over the bridge that you see in Amsterdam all the time. Are you gonna do that, or is that?
No,
bridge too big for that?
We will have bridge designs, totally. Yeah. There will be more bridge designs, and it also needs to be able to move up and down. Like it needs to be one of these harbor bridges that can open up to make ships go through. Yeah, obviously. And also, this is now one area that I really like to show off. I need to show off because we do now have our wonderful members of the channel, and you will also receive a container, obviously, very soon. I just wanted to show that I've been starting to work on these. I received so many comments in the last episode. I wasn't able to put them all in because time is very short at the moment.
Of the essence.
But I mean, we're recording in the middle of the night. It's like try to get this done somewhere.
midnight now.
Exactly. So this is the area where we will have our members of the channel will be part, or people like you who I collaborate with. Will make its way. Awesome dedications to people of the past.
Is the font there? Like you've got that Catlin Owens right there. Is that font? Because in Planet Coaster 1, the fonts were very same-ish. Like there wasn't a huge variation in the fonts.
Let me show you. I can actually do this. This is, there you can see. So this is an editable text. I'm going to show you real quick what that does. I can edit 2, and now you have like a 2 like this. So it's actually
so it's not like live update. You need to hit enter, right?
Yeah, exactly. But that's like a PNG because that is a separate piece, as you can see. Look at that. It's so cool. It's now not a sign
so you don't have to like try and find that perfect sort of like half in, half out.
And there are a lot more.
And how many fonts do they come with?
This is that. There are a lot more, and they're a lot better this time. So they're not perfect, but specifically this one is a lot better than the old one was. They still have a bit of a wonky outline. So it's not like,
but it's a lot better than it was.
This one is also kind of cool.
You've got
it's an Evil Empire.
Yeah, true.
I'm going to leave it at this, have some variation in it. It's also kind of nice, so that's fine. I'm going to stay in this flyover camera because we're here virtually. That's cool. We also have our 30s club over here, which will, again, we will create some more.
I can join that one next year. I'm 29 right now.
Oh, no, I mean, that's the 30-month membership.
Oh, I thought you meant age.
No, but like, oh God, that's the elderly container over here. No, I mean, virtually, you joined the 30s club in years. No, this is actually 30-month member on my channel, which is ridiculous. And
Wow.
I think, if I'm not completely wrong, Fantastic is definitely the one who can't be taken down from the throne ever. He's like 58 months or so. I didn't even know that the feature on YouTube exists that long. It's ridiculous. I think he's been here for the very first month that the membership option was available up until now, which is ridiculous. So big thanks to you, Fantastic. Amazing. And we also have some more dedications to a lot of people. Don't worry, you will all receive your own container at some point, so don't worry at all. What was that? That was a... This is... Okay, wait, hold on. Am I in the wrong menu or so? Oh, end of day report. That's why. Hold on. Okay, wait. Oh my god. So yeah, now it's fine because I saw these like weird shadows of the containers in the background. Now that's better.
Okay.
Yeah, end of day report, by the way. For those of you who don't know, I mean, we are at launch day, so maybe people joined this episode today who haven't seen anything before.
Yeah.
The game now is different. You don't have the typical time that goes on forever. You now have a day-based game, so that means you do have, at the moment, it's this day 4 only. And you know from my usual parks, normally this stage is at year 355 already.
Yeah, million. Yeah.
But now
I used to hate that for myself.
Yeah, but we are at day 4 because the whole day is simulated now. And you can see you have like a weather forecast for the whole day. You even have like a weather forecast for the next days.
Yeah.
And the logic behind this is you always have 2 days of the same month and then it turns into the next one. So we are at the second day of spring and then we will slowly move over to summer. And then you've got a different weather according to the different times of the year. So during spring, you've got light rain, and in winter, you've got heavy rain and these type of things. Yeah. So that is pretty cool. Just to finish off here, we have a Chief Beef Sawyer. This one goes down to Chris Sawyer, who's not the one who makes Roller Coaster Tycoon.
No, he's the... Is he the guy on Facebook, right?
Exactly, and he's the one who also used to be
one.
Chief Beef as a mascot on Gamescom 2016, which is...
Yeah.
It almost feels like that some
guy.
people playing the game now haven't been born. That it's insane.
He loved that River Rapids 3D model. He loved that.
Oh yeah, I totally understand because it's absolutely gorgeous and it's like you've got so many great models. Like again, I will put the link down below to your work so people can check that out. And then we will bring joy to the people because also there's another thing planned and I'm just going to say that because this is something we wanted to do but we can't now decide on when. It depends a little bit on Frontier. Like what we are going to do in the future is we are going to create a coaster. And you will do the custom soundtrack to the coaster, right? It wasn't my idea, it was yours, so I'm not making it work, okay?
Yeah, it was mine. Yeah, no, it was very inspired by you know how like some rides have soundtracks, and I mean the Hollywood Rip Rocket ride to a degree, but like it's more like pick your music to listen to whilst on the ride. You know, like what was it? The rock and roller coaster in Disney.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's
with the Aerosmith soundtrack.
Yeah, atmosphere. Yeah, and it like the Aerosmith. Yeah, it's like it just fits. You know, it's like quick, and you're bombing it down the launch, and you can hear the tires. You know. That's my tire screech impression. And you know, it all just syncs and fits perfectly. And it's like, all right, okay, I can, yeah. And I just thought it'd be nice to do something like that because it's not done enough, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I fully agree. And it's like so cool because we can really like work together, collaborate together. Like even when you have the game, you can virtually load into my park and have a look at how far I am with the coaster and just use that to basically make the soundtrack. That's so cool actually that this works. So I love that. You can even leave notes. I'm not sure if you have seen that, but that was so cool. You can now leave notes for the other one who you are collaborating with. That is so damn cool. Like you can then load into our park and then once you're done, you're like, okay, you know what, Rudi, you've done that's nice, but I need this and can this coaster
But we need to sink the rails below the concrete.
Yeah, for example, exactly. So Yeah, it's so like,
yeah,
it's
I've
really...
missed all these updates. I've just been so like you asked me to do this project at the perfect time because I literally hit right, save, render, send to Rudi, and then all of a sudden these bigger record labels that I work for and Ghost produce, that I definitely cannot say the names of, but think of some of the most iconic dance labels. Yeah, what's it called? They were like, right, we need a song for this person, song for that person, and it's just been non-stop in the studio, which has meant, you know, these deep dives that Frontier have done, I've missed out on, and you know, the only thing I ever see is just the odd little video that pops up saying, oh this, oh that, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, that's, I mean, fair. That means that you definitely need to catch up on these, but that's fine. I mean, you are in the video, so I will catch you up a little here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, by the way, what I was just doing, for those of you who were wondering what I was doing while you were talking about our collaboration and how we are going to approach that, is something a little bit annoying, I gotta say, because the barriers and curbs in this game seem to not work at the moment. You've seen people getting stuck here or sinking into the wall, which is because everything over here was tarmac. You know, it's now so simple to put down like tarmac and stuff. It's ridiculously easy. Like, you go to the stamp tool and then you're like all the way up here. Oops, I didn't mean to make that in the air. Let's bring that down to the ground. Hello. I'm not doing this in mid-air, so let's do that again. So here you go. You can just like basically stamp it down as you go, and then if you want to make that even bigger, you can just use the draw tool and like go in, like just paint over the ground, and boom, there you go. So what I was doing is like I covered the whole thing, and I was like, okay, cool, and now I'm just going to delete these little things. However, the delete tool is not really precise, to say the least, and if you do that with the delete stamps, that's the smallest you can go with. So I decided to go with the full version, and then I was like, okay, I can just use the barriers and curbs, obviously, and no, they just don't work. So I need to do like little bits of these open spaces here to just cover that up, but that's fine. That's all fine. So I guess that's already it. We've been rambling about 25 minutes, which is great. I loved having you on, and while there's
thank you so much for having me.
I guess it's not been the last time you've been on, so I'm looking forward to what we are going to do in the future. Big thanks from my side for the intro song. I love it every single time, and hopefully the guys out there, the first episodes have been receiving a enormous praise and love, so thank you guys so much for that. And also now, if you are a fan and you love hearing the soundtrack whenever the video kicks in, you now have a voice to who made that. So
okay, cool. There's Pure Cold on the music. I know what he sounds like, and you know what my music sounds like as well.
Yeah, that's so cool. And also big thanks again for the Rusty Rails connection, because obviously that's a huge fit with the target group. So in case you guys are into that, linky will be in the description. You can check out what Birch is doing as like 3D modeling, and he's even like producing them, but you can also download these things to print them yourself if you want to. And I'll do a printer update video very soon as well to show you what else I've been up to printing. And yeah. So many thanks. Thank you, Birch. Has been a pleasure.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
Alrighty. So have a wonderful time, everybody. And as always, if you haven't subscribed yet, or if YouTube decided to unsub you, make sure to double check and subscribe to the channel. I will talk to you in the next one. And I will be live tonight, building a bit in the other resort we are building, the Blizzard Beach Sicily edition. So if you want to fancy getting me there, make sure to, join in on Twitch or here on YouTube. I'm not sure when. This is depending on my little one, when she decides to go to bed, and afterwards I'll be starting the stream. So have a good one until then, and bye.